Hello,
Hello!
everyone. My name is Richa,
And I'm Vaishali.
and welcome back to Casual Kura, a podcast where we casually talk about our life experiences as Nepali American women. In today's episode, we're gonna talk about.
In today's episode, we are going to talk about love languages. So,
Yay!
yeah, let's get into it.
Yes.
So, this is something that I have been personally been thinking about for quite some time and recently. And I wanted to bring it into the podcast so we can dive into what the love languages are, why we've been thinking about it, and really unpacking what the love languages mean to us.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those of you who don't know, also I have index cards here because I wanted to be prepared for this. For those of you who don't know, there are five love languages, and I believe they were introduced first by a guy named
Gary
Gary
Chapman.
Chapman in his book, The Five Love Languages. And I first found out about the five love languages back when I was in high school, I'm going to say. When did you first hear about them?
I think I probably it's for me, maybe much later for me. Like maybe I found about maybe 3, 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I personally have been, I don't want to say obsessed, but I do think that for me, it's just always been a topic of conversation because I believe that the five love languages are the I don't want to say the foundations of a relationship, but I think that knowing your love languages and also understanding your partner's or your
Yeah.
friends or your family's love languages really helps the relationship
Mm-hmm.
grow
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
helps you understand whatever relationship that you are in. So before we dive into anything else, um, what are the five love languages? So it's words of affirmation, and that is just words of support or compliments,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. And then we have quality time, which is time spent together with the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Time of value. So
Yeah.
when I think about quality time, I think about you or me with someone else, and we're learning about each other during that
Yeah.
time period.
Yeah. It
Is
has
how
to
I.
be like a very present time.
Yeah,
Like it can't be just like watching a movie or something.
yeah,
You're like mind is elsewhere. You have
yeah,
to be present with each other and you're like spending time together. Yeah.
yeah. And then we have physical touch, which I think that's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And then acts of service, which focuses more on helping with tasks or being involved with just helping out. It could be something like
Mm-hmm.
doing laundry,
Yeah.
things like that. And
Yeah.
then lastly, we have gift giving, which again is self explanatory. Um, I feel like gift giving, it's just like you go to the grocery store and you like think of your friend or something and you get
Yeah.
a cute
Yeah.
little like
Mm-hmm.
token, and then that in itself is gift giving. So yeah, those are the five love languages: words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and gift giving. And now I guess we can dive into
Right
how we
into.
feel about
Yeah.
these things. So, the reason I've been thinking about the five love languages recently is for me personally, I've noticed that there's been a change in the way that I sort of rank them because I
Mm-hmm.
feel as though there are certain love languages that resonate more with who you are and how you receive love versus others.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna ask a question to you first, Richa. Do
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
what's your top love language? How do you feel the most loved? And I want to start off by saying we are gonna tackle this in romantic relationships, and then we can transcend through family and friends because obviously love languages isn't just strict to romance.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
transcends through all of relationships and all forms of relationships that you can have. So in the context of romantic, Richa, since we're starting off with that, what is your top love language? How do you feel the most loved?
Um, I think I don't know. Like I think it's equal amongst like quality time and act of service.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like act of service. and both quality of time. I feel like for somebody to do that for you, like there's a lot of care, attention, and thought, and actually doing it to action, like doing something for me. That's just it. Just talks to me. Like it's just like makes me
Yeah.
feel so much. Like it makes me feel special that the person is
Okay.
doing that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like that is one of my like two of my top ones.
Okay.
Um, like I know this because I have like a very funny story
Okay, let's hear it.
of a crush. So this is on act of service. Because this is how I found out. Okay, wow. Okay, it impacted me a lot. Basically, it was back in my college days, and I was working,
Okay.
um, at a restaurant, and I was serving tables. And part of my job was to clean the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
And that day there was a problem. There was a clogged toilet.
Oh
And I had
no.
never in my life unclogged a toilet. And
Mm-hmm.
so this other lady who's like trying to explain to me
How to
not
unclog
being
a
in the toilet.
toilet?
Yeah, and then she was not in the toilet, but she was explaining to me like, okay, this is how you do. You get this, and then you poo poo poo, and and then
Oh my
oh my god,
god.
and then there was this guy,
A
a
boy.
boy who like worked in the kitchen, a helper. He was like, it's okay, I'll do it for you. Oh my
Okay.
god, hard eyes
Oh
everywhere.
my
Like,
gosh. That was when she realized.
yeah. I know it sounds so dramatic, but it was like I had like such a crush on this guy because of that
Mm,
incident.
really?
Yeah, like oh my
Wow.
god, this guy really stepped up for me. And then like he's doing this. Like he didn't have to. He was like deep in the kitchen. He came out and then
Oh my
so
god.
all of that. So it made me feel like really special. And when I was like, well, I mean, when we were thinking about doing this podcast on love language, just like this came up to my mind. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely have to share.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, and
that's
then yeah,
good.
it speaks on it. Like I really like when people do something for me because
Period.
I feel like it's a very second or third stage of a relationship. I feel like you. I
Really?
mean, I don't know this guy really, but
Oh, I
like
see, I
I
see.
feel like you only do that for somebody who you really know and care for and really yeah,
Oh,
so yeah, I think that's really very special.
okay. No, that's so sweet. That is such a sweet. That's a funny story, though.
It
I did
is.
not expect that to be your revelation of what love language is the most speaking to you towards you. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love that.
What is your what
Well, my my top two
mhm.
is words of affirmation because for me it's so important. It's so important
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
for me to have a partner who supports me verbally
Uh-huh.
and also like not for nothing compliments me
Mhm.
because I okay, and I was thinking about this the other day because like I every day when I wake up and often throughout the day. Like if I can look at myself in the mirror and I can be like, and we all have our bad days, fine. But if I can look at myself in the mirror and I can say to myself, like, Vishali, you look good today.
Mhm,
You're
mhm.
gonna do great today. Da 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 da. Like in my head, why would I be with someone who doesn't do the same? Because the way that I view like relationships, at least, it's like
Mhm.
they are a supplement to your life.
Mhm, mhm.
They are not supposed to be like you are already whole and your
Yeah.
partner is just an addition
Yeah.
that is there and it's like a
Mhm.
little like cherry on top.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
for me, if my partner can't give me what I already give myself, it's like, oh, well, then what are we really doing here? Like what are we really doing here? So words of affirmation is so so important to me.
Mhm.
And then my second love language that's top is physical touch. And
Oh.
what's crazy? I just recently, like, this was a recent change for me, which is
Uh-huh.
why I think the topic of love languages came to, like, has been in the forefront of my mind
Uh-huh,
because
uh-huh.
physical touch in like the grand scheme of things used to be like number four, number five. Like to me, I was just like, physical touch, like that's like whatever, like it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
But I think it didn't matter so much because in my previous relationships and in my relationships before that, physical touch was always there,
Mhm.
And I think that like because it was always there, I didn't understand the gravity of it and how important it was to me until it wasn't there anymore.
Mhm, mhm.
And so that was just like a recent revelation that I had. Like, if I am with someone and they don't touch me, and I feel like there's this misconception of physical touch that it has to be like some sort of like, like it's a little
Uh-huh,
promiscuous or
uh-huh,
something. Like,
uh-huh.
no, that's not like the way I see it. Like, it can be something as simple as holding your hand
Yeah.
or like having a hand on your back, like things like that. And to me, like, if I'm on a date or something, or if I'm with a guy and they don't touch me,
Mm-hmm.
you must think I'm ugly. Like, that's like what goes through my head. And you know what? Fair, like, it's fair enough. Beauty is subjective.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I respect that. But to me, it's so important because in relationships, at least, I want to be loved, but I also want to feel wanted.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, words of affirmation and physical
And physical
touch are
touch.
so important to me. And
They are.
I realized, at least for the physical touch part, because I went on a date with a guy like a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he just like he
Didn't touch
did
you at all?
nothing. And
Was this like a first date?
yeah, I guess. So okay,
But
here's the
even on
thing.
first date,
Yeah,
you
no,
you
okay, well, like, listen, man. I understand there's like a boundary.
uh-huh.
So like I think physical touch kind of like can be a little tricky because
Yeah,
there's
it
that
can.
fine, actually it's not a fine line, it's actually a big like gap between like cute to like okay, like you're doing too much.
Yeah.
But like even on first dates, like I'm not asking the guy to like be all over me, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, if we're walking down the street, you can put your hand on my back, you can hold my hand. Like, there's nothing that's cute.
Uh-huh,
You know what I
uh-huh.
mean? And that wasn't happening. So it was just like, I think that was a moment I was like, oh, this is actually really important to me. But yeah, those are my top two. But before we go even deeper into love languages, we should have started with this actually.
Yeah.
How do you personally define love? We're talking about love
Yeah.
languages. Love
Yeah.
is such a big part of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, it's such like a hefty question. Like
Yeah.
like when do we really think about what is love to me?
Yeah.
um but I thought about this, and when I thought about it, like, this is so funny, but this popped up in my head. Have you watched the movie Kuch Kuch Hota Hai? It's a
Yes,
Bollywood
I
movie.
have.
And there is this
I love it.
scene where it's like a college scene and they're in a class
Uh-huh.
and Miss Briganza asks Shah Rukh Khan, what is love? I think it's like a psychology class or
Uh-huh.
something. And
Uh-huh.
pyar kya hota hai? Right? And
Okay.
then he says, love is friendship. Pyar dosti hai, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's so true. Like, not only friendship, but I feel like love is just our relationships
Real. Yeah.
and our people. Like, if our people are not there, then love is not there. So for me,
Mm.
I feel like it's my community, it's my core group of people.
Mm.
Yeah, like that's love to me.
Oh my god. That is so I actually love that you brought up Bollywood film because
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna put a pin on that and I want to revisit that because I feel like Bollywood films has shaped the way that I personally view love so drastically.
Yep, yep.
Um, but love to me is a very profound feeling. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's because I am more of a feeling person
Yeah.
that to me it's like it's just so it's intense, but in not in a like heart pounding, like, oh my God, I'm gonna die way. It's like intense in the most flourishing way, if that makes
Mm-hmm,
sense. And to me,
mm-hmm,
love is very action orientated
mm-hmm,
because there's only so like even though to me love is a feeling, there's only so much that a feeling can do. I feel like when someone loves you,
mm-hmm.
you will know. Like I feel like there are certain things that people will do if they love someone. And I think that goes back to what you were mentioning earlier about the guy that helped you
Yeah,
unclog the toilet and how
yeah,
you
yeah,
feel love.
yeah.
Like I think that for example that is an action that is a
Mm-hmm.
result of someone
Yeah,
caring about you and
yeah.
love is care. But yeah, I think it's to me it's a profound feeling that can be put into action. And I think I don't know if you know the author Bell Hooks. Love her. If you haven't read All About Love by Bell Hooks, you need to read it. It's
I
my top
haven't. Okay,
favorite
I
book.
have to do that homework.
Yes. But in the book she talks about how love is a verb. It
Mm-hmm.
is something that it's an action, like I mentioned. And I think I wholly agree with her. Like I don't think if someone comes up to you and is like, I love you, and then they do nothing, it's like,
Doesn't
okay,
mean
well,
anything.
actually don't then. um but yeah, no, I that's what love is to me.
Hmm.
Yeah. But going back to this Bollywood kuch
Yeah.
kuch hota hai that
Yeah.
you mentioned, and love in Bollywood film in particular is something that is so, like, I think about it a lot. Like, Bollywood romance lives in my head rent free,
Yeah.
you know?
Mine too. Mine too.
Yeah, and I think that it it's so whimsical.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I thought it would always be like in movies,
Yeah.
like your sari would fly when you fall in love,
Oh,
like
you're
all
like
of
singing
that.
about the moon
Yeah,
shining.
yeah. And I don't know. It's so weird. Like whenever I went on school trips or anything, like okay, I'm gonna meet somebody here. I'm gonna fall in
You're so
love with
hopeless
somebody. Yeah,
romantic. Oh my god.
yeah. And going to 200 trips and never end up happening. So I was like, okay, this
Mm.
is only for movies.
No, I don't know. I don't know if I completely agree with that. But I think that, well, do you have a favorite Bollywood movie? Let's start off there.
Favorite Bollywood movie? Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. It's
Ugh,
like
I never
my
watched that. Or
oh.
if I did, I was probably very young and I don't remember it.
Mhm. It's like it's a little bit newer than Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Hmm, hmm.
But I mean, it's about this. I don't know. The girl is like super nerdy, and the guy is like super out there, and then like it's like a cute love story.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna add it to my list.
It's you have to watch it.
Okay,
It's so good.
okay, I'm gonna watch it. Um, my favorite is Om Shanti Om. I feel
Oh.
like it's such a classic. I
Uh
love that.
huh.
I love that movie so much. But I feel as though romance in Bollywood films are so strong and
Yeah.
emotionally driven,
Yeah.
and it's it really captures the essence of whimsy to me, because when
Mhm.
you're watching Bollywood films and the characters are falling in love, they always get into a sing song kind of
Yeah.
moment and
Yeah.
they're dancing, and I don't understand Hindi, but I watch it with subtitles, and
Mhm.
the lyrical language of the music is so deep.
Yeah, it
You know,
is.
it's so
It is very
poetic.
deep. Yeah. Even like the I understand Hindi, and there's a talking Hindi, and there is like this Hindi you hear in songs that's like very poetic and very
Yeah.
like I don't know what it means, but it sounds so beautiful. Like these are
Yeah.
like very difficult words that you don't
Yeah.
hear in everyday
Yeah.
life. Yeah, but it's like it sounds so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. And I think, little me growing up with watching Bollywood films and
Uh-huh.
like seeing love on the screen has, I mean, it made me a hopeless romantic growing up, because
Uh-huh.
I think I relate to you in the sense of, like, I was always like out there. I was like, oh my god, am I gonna meet the love of my life today?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because that's what happens in the Bollywood films. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like, is he
Like
gonna
especially
sing to
when you
me?
go
Like,
on trips. Like when
it always happens on a
like
trip.
yeah, it always happens on a trip. You bump
Mhm.
into somebody.
And then it just goes from
Yeah.
there.
Or like
Yeah.
it's like your first day in college.
Not the
And
first
then you
day.
yeah, it usually happens in the first day and you bump into this guy and then you have your paper all over the
Oh my
floor
god, and then
and
he has to pick it up.
yeah, and you touch
Oh.
hands and like
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
no. 100% I get it. But no, I think Bollywood has definitely
Mhm.
shifted the way that I
Yeah.
perceive
Yeah.
and want to experience love.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of damaged my love life, I feel like,
You think
cuz
so?
cuz like Bollywood is here and
And
I
then
thought
real
always
people are
our
like,
love life is going to be here. But I
uh,
mean, reality is good, but in a different way. It's not going to be
mm-hmm.
cuz I feel like in movies there are like hundreds and thousands of people who are working on it to make it that whimsical
Perfect.
and perfect,
Yeah,
right? And
that's true.
when you in reality you're gonna have that awkward moments and it
Yeah,
has its
that's true.
own beauty, but it's like where you're here and then you have that real experience,
Yeah,
there is a disappointment. Like
yeah,
we all go through that, I feel
yeah,
like. And then later on, like when you adapt in the real world and you're
yeah,
like meeting people and and you realize that it has its own beauty.
yeah.
Yeah. And
I
it's
yeah.
real. It's real. It's
I
not.
completely agree with you.
Uh-huh.
And that's the thing about love to me. It's like when I I have friends, and they I had one friend, and she would always tell me like love isn't supposed to be hard. Like love is supposed to be free flowing, and you when you know, but like I don't completely agree with that. I feel like, okay, I think love can be very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when you love someone, there's going to be a lot of
Yeah,
difficulties.
yeah, yeah,
There's going
yeah.
to be awkward moments. There's going to be arguments, but love is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You wake
Yeah, yeah,
up,
yeah,
and
yeah.
if you're with someone, you make the choice to love them,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I think that like this idea of like love isn't supposed to be hard can almost be damaging, because I think that sometimes you have to put in the work. Like,
Yeah.
for example, even like tying it back to the topic of love languages, like let's say your partner's love language is words of affirmation, for
Mm-hmm,
example,
mm-hmm.
and you are not good with expressing how you feel in terms of like words
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
talking or whatever. It's going to be hard for you to go to your partner and give them words of affirmation, because you yourself, whatever the reason is, are just not good at words. But
Yeah.
that's what is hard about love. You need to grow into someone who can offer your partner
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
support
Yeah.
to make them feel loved,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Like you care about that person, so you have to put the work. You have to.
exactly.
It's not for you. It's for the other person, and yeah,
Yeah.
you willing to put that effort. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's I feel like it's not even about one or the other. It's about you guys as like a
a team.
whole.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like the usual like statement that people say in relationships, like
yeah.
it's
Mm-hmm.
not you or me, it's us. And it's just like, yeah, you know what? It is. Like I don't know. I think it just there are certain parts of love and being in a relationship that just requires effort,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and that that is a challenging part. Like love as a feel I think love as a feeling can be easy, and I think that yes, like when you do love someone, you do, like it's
Yeah,
just something you
yeah.
feel in your heart. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't really know how to describe it, but there are real, almost like tangible things that need to be done to
Yeah.
foster that relationship.
Yeah, you know you love, but you're willing to go extra and step out.
Exactly.
Yeah, step out of your
Exactly.
comfort zone to do something for
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
for the other person. Hmm.
Heavy on the comfort zone. But yeah, I feel, yeah, 100%. And here's another question. Do you think that the way your parents raised you and showed you love changed how your love language is and how
Yeah,
you feel love?
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like my love language is act of service
How
because
you show
yeah,
other people?
uh,
Or
um, I think it's more receiving and
okay,
also I
okay.
also giving. Like
Okay.
if I care about you, of course I'm gonna do stuff like do activities for you and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
spend quality time with you. But I say like act of service is like one of my top love languages because of my parents, because I feel like growing up they're not a very word of affirmation kind of people.
Real. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think their way of showing love was just act of service. Like they would cook
Yeah.
for us, they would clean for
Yeah.
us.
They would cut
They
up fruit.
yeah, 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 yeah. Like they would just provide us and like that was their way of showing love, and I feel like it has transcended into me. That's why
Hmm.
like I feel like when somebody like really does something for me and I'm like wowed by it and
That's so
yeah, cuz that's
interesting.
like more natural to me, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
versus like word of affirmation, like we
Yeah.
didn't grow up like a lot of like compliments everywhere. No, like there was
Yeah,
not a
no,
thing.
girl,
That's
no.
the opposite. Like we grew up with a lot of criticism. Like I mean they
Yeah.
mean well, but the half of the time or most of the
Yeah.
time they're just making us aware like how we should act or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
criticizing, nitpicking, like okay, what are you wearing, what are you eating, how are you eating, how are you walking,
Yeah.
like everything is questioned, everything is like
Yeah.
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 So like and like it's like breaking from that, like since I grew up in that kind of society, like now I feel like words of affirmation feels uncomfortable to me, like when like in the beginning,
Really?
yeah, in the beginning, like when somebody complimented me it was even hard for me to accept it. Like I would be like no,
Oh.
no, no,
Yeah,
like I would
okay.
be
I
very
get
like
it.
shy or coy about it. Like I wouldn't like be like, yeah, thank you. Like it would be
Yeah.
like it come much later to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as like words of affirmation is not my top language, but I feel like it's something I really need. I need to make it familiar for myself, like, cause
Yeah.
it is good. Like yeah,
Yeah, of
so
course.
yeah, I am working on it.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, but
100%.
mhm.
No, I completely agree with you in terms of the context of words of affirmation and growing up with parents that just did not provide that.
Mhm,
And, like,
mhm.
I think it just has to do with the way that they were raised as
Yeah,
well. And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually funny because my mom, how like when you're on the subway and you see parents and kids, and like I feel like in America, like words of affirmation is so
Yeah,
prominent,
it is.
and like you'll see these parents talking so like gently to their
Mhm,
kids, and they're like,
mhm.
"Good job, like great work on your test, like you did amazing." Girl, I did not get that growing
Yeah,
up. Like,
same.
and then my mom will always be like, "Ugh, these Americans are like soft talking their children," and I'm just like, well, actually, anyways, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with you. I think that the way that my family raised me has definitely impacted my personal love languages. And I don't know, I read this somewhere and it was like the love language that you didn't receive enough growing up is the love language that you have now, which I guess isn't in your case because you grew
Yeah.
up with acts of service and now
Yeah.
that is how you view love. But I think with me, I grew up without words of affirmation. So now it means so much to me when
Yeah.
someone
Mhm.
verbally shows their support for me.
It doesn't
Um,
feel like an unfamiliar territory for you, but I feel like you are like a avid journaler, and
I
like
am.
I feel like you like got introduced with like this positive affirmation thing like since a
Yeah.
very young age. So
Yeah,
it
I
like I think
did.
even though if you didn't get it from your parents, like you like drilled in that
Yeah.
to yourself. Like
Yeah.
good job for
Yeah,
that.
girl. It took years, but it was just something that I don't know, I think
Yeah.
I don't know, like I yeah, 100%. So I mean, I don't know, like in terms of like when other people like just give me compliments or like
Hmm,
words of
hmm.
affirmation, like whatever, like words of support, like it just means a lot to me. And the way that I show love towards other people is
Hmm,
also very similar. Like when
hmm.
I feel like when I look at someone, I'm like, I'm excited for you, I'm happy for you. Like I mean it. Like I
Hmm.
don't just say
Yeah,
that just
yeah,
to
yeah,
say
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that my perception is when someone says the same thing to me, they mean it with their like
Mhm,
full heart,
mhm, mhm, mhm.
um, but no, 100%. I think I do think that the way that you're raised and the love languages that your parents offer
Mhm.
change shifts how you use yourself, not like only receive love, but also give love.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's interesting to me that your number one love language is acts of service because if I were to rank mine, I think that would be my last.
Last,
Because,
really?
okay, here's my thought process. It's
Uh-huh.
like, to me, I feel like there are things that come almost naturally when someone loves you.
Mhm.
And acts of service is one of those love languages to me where it's like,
It's a byproduct of.
it's, yeah, like, for example, like if I'm living with my partner and there's dirty laundry and my partner knows that I'm going to be home late,
Mhm, mhm,
why wouldn't you help me with that?
mhm.
You know,
Yeah, that
that's like, that's
yeah,
kind of
that's
in the,
like a given kind of thing. Like,
yeah, that's like in the context that I view it
mhm,
as.
mhm.
But I guess that could be said for all the love languages. I
Yeah.
guess it's just like the way that what you
Yeah,
prioritize.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I guess it really is the way you prioritize things. But no, access services. I mean, it's there, but it's interesting to hear that that's
Mhm,
your
mhm.
number one.
Yeah, I feel like it's like the act of doing. It's like the fact
Yeah,
that I mean, it takes a lot for somebody to do something for you. Like you just
that
don't do
is
it
true.
just for anybody.
That is
Yeah.
true.
It's just like the one you said, like action. Like that is like
Yeah.
really big for me. Like this person like really thought about me, cares about me, and now is doing this for me. Like that is like very
Mm,
like it takes it's just like the behind part, like that it takes a lot to get there. And
yeah.
like the fact that this person did for me, like whoa, like yeah, that
Yeah.
amazes me or that like makes me feel
Okay.
so loved.
Do you think that your love languages change between relationships? Like, okay, acts of service is it like your number one, or like in friendships, is there a different love language where that you
Mm-hmm.
prioritize?
I think it's like pretty similar along the whole like among all of the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. But when you say like among friendships, like I have this story about my friend who is an amazing hugger. Like,
Oh my God.
and yeah, and like it like she made me change my mind about physical touch, like how powerful
Really?
it
It
is. Like
is.
she
See,
gives
yeah.
you a warm tight hug
It
every
is.
time she sees you. And even though if she's hugging a stranger, she's gonna like when you go through that experience, like now you're like, okay, you're part of my gang,
Yeah.
you're like part of my
I need to meet
like
her.
it's
What?
like a superpower to
Yeah.
be able to give like affection to people in a right way. Like that
Yeah.
is like an art in itself, and it's a
Yeah.
superpower to have.
It
Like
really is.
yeah, you like people can get instantly close if you give a right
Yeah.
right kind of hug.
You really can. You really,
Yeah,
because there are good huggers and there
and
are
the
bad
bad
huggers,
huggers.
guys. So 100%, 100,
Yeah.
100%. I completely agree with you. Oh my God. Okay. So I guess like did she showed you
Yeah,
that
she made me realize like how important it is,
yeah.
and I try to apply that now. Like
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's just I think it's just so reassuring. Like even if
yeah,
it's just like a touch on the shoulder or like a touch
yeah.
on your like the hand, like
Mhm.
it makes you I think that's like it's a form of connection to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
It makes you feel connected to the other
Yeah.
person and yeah, and even beyond romantic relationships, like I love being close to my friends. Like I love just like being near them.
Uh-huh.
And it's so funny because like once again, I think physical touch is like almost on like the boundaries of things because
Mhm.
some people genuinely don't like to be touched and
Yes.
respect that.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend and she's not a physical touch person at
Mhm.
all. Like
Mhm.
she's one of those people like I could see like not see her for months and her hugging is like hey you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
like once again like I completely respect that. Like she just is that's just not the way that she shows
Mhm.
love. Like
Love.
she's more of
Mhm.
an acts of service. Like she'll cook for me,
Mhm.
she'll
Mhm.
take me to
Mhm.
Target, like things like that, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely acts of service person. But for me, like even in friendships, I feel like I just love being close. Like I love
Yeah.
like to be close to people. Like if I'm having a sleepover with my friends, like I'll be the one that's like snuggled up. Like I
Yeah.
don't know, like to me it's just like it's a way to
Mhm.
be
Mhm.
connected with someone. But that's not how it is with my family. And
Oh
that
yeah.
yeah, with my family, physical touch is like last.
Really?
Yeah, it's like I don't know why. I don't know
Even with your
why.
mom?
Well, okay, with my
I know
mom,
Barsha is not. She's
yeah,
not a physical touch
yeah.
kind of
Barsha, by
person.
the way, reminder is my sister.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, she, yeah, no. Well, actually, I guess not. But it's so funny because my mom will literally like remind me like once a week. She'll be like, "You didn't hug me." They say
Oh.
hugging is good for good for people, hugging is good for love, and it's crazy to me because like I know, like
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Yeah,
mentioned like physical
yeah.
touch is really important to me, but I don't know why with my family it's just not
Doesn't
like
come naturally to
no,
you.
like I think with my family I'm more of a quality time
Hmm. Hmm.
person.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'll just sit by my mom when she's doing something,
Uh-huh.
watching a
Uh-huh.
movie, or like with my dad, or like anyone. Like quality time is how I show love to my
Mhm.
family.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Um, yeah,
I
I
am
don't,
very affectionate, especially with mom and sister.
yeah,
Like we are very affectionate. Like I like
yeah.
hug her like 10 times a day. Like
Oh, I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we do massages on our heads.
Oh,
We do massage, back massage. Like
oh my
yeah, we're
god.
like turn by turn.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I want to grow more into
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
it's I like in general, love languages aside, I think like physical touch is just it's good for the heart and
Mhm.
it's good
Yeah,
for the
it is.
body.
It is.
So,
Yeah, sometimes you
definitely.
crave it. Like if you don't
Yeah.
have, like we're human. Yeah.
Real.
No,
I just want to hug.
no, like sometimes, like I have my own room, and sometimes I want to sleep with my mom. I'm like,
Oh my god, so
and so
real.
just sleep with her 10 minutes, and then I go back to my bed.
Yeah. See,
Like, yeah.
for that, yeah, 100%. For me, that's like quality,
Mhm.
almost quality time.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I'll be in my room and I'll be like, kind of want to be next to my mom right now, and
Yeah.
I'll just go to her room and I'll lay down next to
Mhm.
her for like a little while, and then I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm happy now. But yeah, I feel like it's interesting.
It
Yeah.
is.
So you're like acts of service. amongst all relationships, that's your number one?
Um, I think in romantic, I think it's act of service more. Like I feel like really instantly loved when somebody does anything for me. Like it
Mm.
has like from a small
You
gesture to
guys hear
like
that?
yeah.
All you boys listening,
Yeah.
the way to
Like
reach his heart.
it like stays with me. If somebody like carried something heavy for me, like this guy, like I like don't know. Like this is a classmate and he like
Uh-huh.
picked up something for me. I'm like, okay, this like he has
You're
created a
instantly
stamp.
attracted.
Yeah, stamp on me. Like, okay,
Wow.
okay. I'm noticing you. Like yeah,
Wow.
but I don't that's so basic, no? Like I don't
I
know
don't
why I'm
think
like so
so.
wowed about
I
it.
don't think so. I don't think that's basic. I think that's how you,
Yeah, that's how I feel
yeah,
loved.
that's how you
Yeah.
feel
Hmm.
loved.
I
Yeah.
think among friendship, it's like quality time,
Yeah.
like spending more time with them. Because I feel like
Yeah.
all we have is time, and that's how you
That's
build
true. That's true.
bond, right?
I
Yeah, the
agree.
more time you spend with somebody, the deeper the relationship is going to be, and the more you're going
Yeah.
to know about each
Yeah.
other. So, yeah, I think as friendship, I would say quality time, not like act of service. Like you don't have to do
Yeah.
anything for me, just
Yeah.
come chill with me.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I feel like words of affirmation across relationships for me,
Mm-hmm.
but I think family, it's a little different where it's more quality time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if my parents don't say that they're proud of me, like it's fine. I'm okay with that. Like I just want to like, I just want to like spend time with them and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. I feel like knowing your love language is so important.
It is. It
It's so
is.
important. And I think it's just it's a good conversation. It's a good conversation to have across your relationships. Honestly, like it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, just being aware about how we as a relationship, like how we want to be received love. That's like a
so
core. Yeah, it's
important. It's so
important.
important.
Like make sure you're loving your partners right. Make sure you're loving your
Yeah.
friends right.
Make sure
Well,
you're loving
yeah.
yourself
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
I think oh my god, and I'm such a big proponent of love languages. Like I could write an essay about this. I think it's just like it's so crucial because I think when you really get to sit down with yourself and think, okay, this is how I receive love. This is how I give love. I think
Mhm.
it makes your relationships flow more because then you start, I think, to know what to ask of your partner
Yeah,
or your friends.
exactly.
And honestly, like
Exactly.
we all have moments where we feel unloved. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's part of the human experience. But when you are able to identify, okay, I'm feeling bad right now because my friend didn't say they were proud of me or something like that, I think that's those conversations become more easier to have. And I think that I just feel like as people, we need to
Yeah.
open conversations about love
Mhm.
in this context more.
Mhm.
Like, I think we should normalize sitting with our friends and being like, hey, this is what makes me
Feel
feel,
loved.
yeah, this
Mhm.
is what
Mhm.
makes me feel good. This is what doesn't make me feel good. What about you? How do
Mhm.
you feel about
Mhm.
this?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and even with family as well, like, I don't know, I feel like I have these conversations. It's easier for me to have these conversations with my partner and my friends than it is with my family.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever talked to my family about the five love languages, but I
I
think
know the awareness has to be there from their side to talk
yeah,
about it.
that's true.
I think for our parents to bring that awareness,
Yeah,
it's really hard.
it is hard. I feel like if I sat down with my parents and was like, okay, these are the five love languages, my dad would look at me and be like, what are you talking about right now? Yeah, but yeah, I think as a whole we just need to open up our
Mhm.
conversations
Mhm.
about it more.
Yeah.
So
And for yourself too, if you haven't like thought about this, like
yeah.
definitely think about it. It would like really help your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And your relationship with yourself
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's like the most important one.
Yeah. Well, Richa,
It's that time.
it's that time.
Okay. So I mean, we've been telling you guys this, but we're gonna end the podcast with top three of every episode.
Yeah, top three
So this episode we're gonna do top three affirmations.
affirmations.
Okay, go
So,
Vaishali.
oh, me first?
Yeah. Do you
Okay,
want me to
okay.
go first?
Oh, I can go first. You
Okay,
can go
go,
first.
go, go.
Okay, so top three affirmations for me. I think it's that I am smart,
Mm-hmm.
I am beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got this. Like, I think that those like top three statements is something that I think about almost every day.
Uh-huh.
And it's not like, I feel like for me, affirmations, it's almost like not even intentional. Like, I'm not like looking at myself in the mirror when I wake up and brush my teeth and I'm like, Vishali, I am smart, I am beautiful, I got this. It's just like something that goes like
Mm-hmm.
throughout the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just because I've
Yeah.
just like worked,
Because
just working.
you're beautiful and you're smart and you got this.
Yeah. And I think like, yeah. And I think it just, yeah, those are my top three. And it is a girl, it's helped me a lot. And as a bonus, something that I've also been thinking about recently is I am brave.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think with me and my job and like going
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
like
You can.
diving into my career, that's just something that it's like that phrase in itself is new, but it's helped me a lot. Like, I need to be brave today. I am brave.
Yeah.
The world
Yeah.
is a scary place,
It
guys.
is. It
How
is.
about you, Richa?
I think my top three would be I'm dealing with this willpower thing. I feel like
Hmm.
willpower is so, so important.
Like
And
discipline?
yeah, discipline and
Okay.
just like I don't know, do the things that are right for you, right? And
Mm-hmm.
don't be yeah. Oh, like I think willpower is more like the things you are set to you said you were going to do, like do it, like no matter how hard it is.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's a
Yeah,
good
and
one.
I feel like as a freelancer and working independently, like
Mm-hmm.
that's like my main thing right
Yeah.
now. Like how do I like I have this set of goals and how do I reach like
Yeah.
yeah, so like willpower, having a strong willpower and sticking through it, like I think that's like my top
Mm-hmm.
affirmation right now. Other one would be like I am kind.
You are
Yeah,
kind.
that's like
Yeah.
big thing for me because I don't know, the world is harsh
The
already,
world
and
is harsh.
yeah, I just want to be a kind person to somebody or a kind person to myself.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know,
really
growing
good.
up like in a very self-critical, I don't know, like growing up in a very critical world, and like that has ingrained in me, and I'm very critical of myself, and
Mm,
I'm trying to work on that. So like kindness is like very big
that's
for
so
me.
good. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think the one another one would be not being attached. I'm not attached with
Oh.
anything.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like
That's so interesting.
every okay, I did this meditation session in it's called Vipassana, and then the main thing about that meditation is everything is temporary,
Hmm,
and
yeah.
like just not being attached with anything. And that is so true. Like this moment is gonna pass. Like
Yeah,
just enjoy it and
I
not
agree.
like because when you attach, I feel like that creates more like
Yeah.
if you love this moment and you if in your head if you think this is gonna last forever and it doesn't last, then you have this huge disappointment, and then
Yeah.
like yeah, knowing that hey, this is gonna pass, enjoy
Mm,
it, and then it's
yeah.
gonna come back, like
That's
more better
good.
things are gonna come.
Yeah.
There's gonna be worse days, but that is also gonna pass. Like
I
that is like a very yeah, I think those three are my top
I love that.
affirmations.
Wait, okay, wait. I love that. I love that last one. Cause it's like I think when you it's like setting expectations almost. Like when
Yeah.
you set expectations,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you're bound to be disappointed. But like
Yeah.
taking things as they are and being present
Mm-hmm.
and just being like, okay, it's okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's
enough.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
so those were our top three
Top
affirmation. If you
three.
guys want to drop in your top three affirmations on the
Yes.
comments, please do.
Yes. I love
And
this.
we uploaded 2 episodes so far, and we are receiving a lot of love. So thank you all for
Thank
watching. Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you for watching and listening to us. I think yeah,
Check us out on YouTube.
yeah,
Check us
check
out
us out
on
on YouTube. If
Spotify.
you guys only like listening or watching on each of the platform, like come on YouTube and watch us or go to
Subscribe,
Spotify
like,
and
all that
listen. Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
subscribe, rate us on Spotify. Yeah, show us some love on the comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us on this conversation,
Yeah.
and we'll see you in
The
the
next
next episode.
episode.
Bye.
Bye.